All right, what's going on, everybody, man? Welcome. This is the Doodle Warriors podcast, episode 2, and we have a very special guest, Breno Pontes. Welcome, Breno. And
Oh,
one of our students who's really been able to kind of find his style because he's been so advanced and stuff. And I was thinking like this whole podcast can really be about that, and he can kind of talk about his experience with really finding his style. So, Breno, can you tell us a little bit about you and kind of like your story and stuff?
yeah. So, hello. I'm Breno. I tell everyone that I'm 31 years old, but I'm really 15.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. Damn, I wish I could look like that when I was
it's because
15.
it's because I look like super old. So I tell everyone I'm 31, so they will go with it.
Okay.
But really, I work as a software engineer. Like it's my income. Like that's what I do for a living. So I'm not here like on this art shit for like becoming a concept artist or anything like that. So I think that's like an advantage for me. I don't have any like pressure to get good fast or to get like a following because I don't want to make me this my profession. It's just a hobby. Uh,
But damn, that's
so
so crazy that you got to this type of a level just by a hobby, though, because like your work now is like better than like some professionals that I see on Instagram.
oh man, oh,
And you're
thanks,
so
but
humble too.
yeah, but it's kind of I like learning. I like studying studying things. So like it can only get better. You can't get worse when you practice, right? So if you keep practicing, you get better. It's
Yeah.
like you can't help it. So yeah, I I think that's it. Like
So where
I
were
do
you?
my thing.
Yeah, because like you're a software engineer, like how did you even start drawing and stuff? Like were you
Yeah,
drawing?
I've always done it. Like since I was a kid. I think I could probably like go to college for arts instead of computer science, but I ended up doing computer science, and I'm grateful for it because it pays well.
Okay. You're just like
uh,
living in money, like, bro, I can do art now, bro.
Now I can
Thank
do
God
art,
thank God
and
I
I'm
chose the
making it
science
rain.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, I just because I also love like the math parts and the logic of programming and stuff. So I think like the both of those things like make real sense for me, and I think it even helps me a bit on my art because I'm super analytical for stuff. Like
Yeah.
sometimes even too much. Like you give me a bad time for it. Like it will look better if you put this color here. No, but it
Yeah.
won't make sense because the light won't get there. But it will look better.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. I gotta do the thing. So yeah,
Mhm. I think what's interesting, like having people on the podcast, is like I find a lot of people who graduate and get better, a lot of like the logical people, and it's funny to see that it's a little bit opposite to what people think. Like it's not really a lot of like super creative people and like super artsy and stuff. Like people who get better, like they have a little bit of that analytical side to them because they can kind of like
yeah.
break
I'm
down
not that.
stuff.
I'm not that type. I'm really not that type. I've seen some people like that. Like I know some people like that, but I'm not that type.
Like the artsy type.
Yeah, yeah. The ones that can like paint a masterpiece, but they can't tell you anything about how they did it or how they studied it. Yeah,
Mhm.
they do it. Okay,
Yeah. I
I won't
think,
be able to do it.
yeah, I think
I'm not
most,
talented.
yeah, I don't think anybody really is
Yeah, yeah.
anyway.
That's
But
why
I
I
think,
said it.
I think most of the people joining Do the Warriors is like people that kind of relate to like my teaching and the whole vibe of like structured things, and they're like more
Yeah,
analytical and stuff. And it's
yeah,
completely opposite to like the generic type of artsy.
yeah. It's the same thing for me. Like one thing that I think made me like improve a lot was this because you have like a structured plan. So when I was going to practice drawing, I knew what I had to practice
Yeah.
and I knew what results were expected. And then I had feedback
Yeah.
either from you or from a coach or from like my peers of how that specific thing was going. So I knew how to get better on that specific thing, and then on the next one, and then when you sum all the parts, like you're just better. And then after you like go through the course, you have like the same paintings that everyone on that everyone on the course has, and that should be a bad thing. But no, that's like what's expected. And now you have the freedom to, now that you know the basics, that you know the all the stuff, you have the freedom to like pursue your style, or keep doing the same thing, or start doing fucking animation, or whatever, because now you have the all the basic stuff.
Yeah, it all comes about for finding the foundation first, and then after
Yeah.
that, you build everything on top.
Yeah, because if you don't know the rules, you can't break the rules. Like you I think the best example of that is like the Picasso guy. I don't know if if you ever heard of that.
Oh yeah,
Of him,
like the Picasso. Like how you quoting the Picasso guy?
That
Yeah,
Picasso
like,
guy.
yeah, that Picasso guy. He did pretty well.
Not a big following on Instagram, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at his stuff, like I don't really like it that much, but okay. But if you look at his studying shit, like he really knew like how to draw. Like he had like some pretty nasty figures. He could do portraits. He knew how to render. He knew everything about light and stuff. So then he could like break everything and do his stuff. But he had to know the rules first. So I think a lot going to the style thing. I think a lot of people will come into drawing and will say, I don't need to learn that stuff because my shit is styled or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it will end up looking bad because they will be able to copy, like if they really study, they will be able to copy like a Disney character, like on one of those Cartoon Network characters, in a pose or two, but they won't be able to rotate the angle. They won't be able to come up with new stuff because they don't have the basics. Even the most styled thing has to come after you study all the basics, like proportions, perspective, composition, planes, form, 3D form, and all of that stuff. So yeah, it's really important to go through the basics first.
Definitely. And I think what's interesting is like having different type of students. Like your history, I think it's a little bit different than Alexa's because she came into this not knowing anything, and she just bought her first tablet, and then got into the course, and it was a little bit harder for her because obviously she had zero experience. And you were somebody
it's amazing her progress, right?
Oh yeah, she crazy. But like with you've had some experience before that. You kind of came in a little bit intermediate, and I love seeing that. Like I love how the course helps both people who have no experience and people who been kind of doing some stuff for a while, but they were kind of random. So can you talk a little bit about that? How long did you really draw for and use the tablet and all of that stuff?
I've always liked drawing since I was a kid. I think I got my first tablet like when I was 14 or something. So I'm almost more than 15 years like of having a tablet. So that's a lot of time. But the thing is, what I told you already. But what I would do is like I would like try to paint something, and then I would hate it because it wasn't good. I could see a lot of better stuff on the internet, but I knew it wasn't good. So I would start like to watch a bunch of YouTube videos like, hey, here's how to draw an eye, here's how to draw a nose, stuff like that. So I kind of knew the stuff, but I wouldn't practice it because I was too lazy or because I didn't feel like it, because I had to watch some porn or I don't know. But I wouldn't practice it, and then it will be a long time. And then when I had to practice again, I just wouldn't remember all the stuff that I watched because I didn't practice when I watched on the first time. So it would be bad again. Like the drawing would be really bad again because I didn't remember the stuff that I watched, and all the stuff that I watched didn't give me a structure. So I didn't know if I, like when I was trying to do a portrait, I didn't know if I had to like practice the eyes or the rotation of the head, or if I had to practice proportions. I was trying to do everything at the same time, and I didn't use references because I want to do like stuff by mind, so I don't need references, right? That's how you do it. No artists use references, right?
Yeah, why use photos? Fuck that. No.
I hear that. I hear that. Like artists don't use references. Uh, so in the end of the day, the drawing would look really bad, and I'm like, fuck this. This art shit's not for me. Because then I would see all these great artists doing the great stuff, and I'm like, this art thing is not for me. Let me do some math. So. So I went back and forth on this, and well, I could like draw. It was like better than average, but it wasn't super good. But then the pandemic came, and I had to stay at home. I couldn't go out with my friends to have beer, and I love beer, so I was kind of getting depressed. And so I had to do something, and I saw your YouTube videos. I was like, yeah, let me see if he has like a spot on the mentorship thing. And you didn't have one. I'm like, okay. And then one day I saw another video. And I was like, let me just check again. And then you had one spot. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Let's see what happens. It will be the first time, and it was really cheap too.
Yeah. That was so funny. Yeah, it was pretty cheap. You know,
the worst that can happen is I'll talk to someone outside of my house. So yeah. It will be,
you're like, bro, I'm willing to paint to talk to somebody, bro.
Just I want to talk to someone. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So I paid for that. But yeah, and then everything happened, right?
Damn, that's really crazy. And I definitely relate to what you said about being like just not feeling talented and just saying like, oh, art is not for me. Because like I talk a lot about having a math background too, and I was in math high school. So when I started to draw and it didn't really work out, like I'll tell myself, yeah, I'm the math kid. Like, why am I trying to draw? And everybody around me would say that too. Like, I don't know if you felt that, but everybody around you would say like, you're not an artist. Why are you trying to do that? So you have to like have that belief and really like, believe that this shit is possible in order to kind of break through it. So definitely relate to that. And I also think it's interesting, like what you said too, about watching tutorials and not really applying it. I think there's two types of people, where the first type are other people who practice so much, but they're not really resourceful. They don't really watch any tutorials. They don't really follow any recipes or anything like that. And the second type is people who only watch stuff, but they never really get to practice. And the magic happens when you actually do both. Watch and follow something, and then you practice it. But, it comes to the structure rather than just doing random stuff all the time, All right. And, I wanted to talk to you about your style. So, where do you actually think style comes from? Like, now that you've been able to kind of develop this whole thing and stuff.
Well, it's hard to answer, but I think the style thing, it will come from. Can you hear my dog?
Yeah, but it's okay. It sounds like a cute dog.
Yeah, it's a fucking bitch.
Okay.
No, it's not.
I love bitches. I love bitches.
She's cute. If you want, I can show her, because then you can do the thumbnail thing and get a bunch of views.
We can definitely do that later. I'm going to just have the dog and then just write that bitch and then just point at her. Listen, I've been doing YouTube for a while, all right? I've been known.
You know how it works, right? Okay. No, so I think that the style thing, I think it comes from copying artists that you like. It's kind of a lame answer, but I think it's true. Like if you look at a bunch of people on that are successful today and have good styles, you see like references from other artists that people like and stuff, but you won't be able to to have a nice style or a good style if you don't know the basics, right? It's what we talked about before. You have to know the basics, and then you start like studying people that you like, and your style will develop naturally. And you can even force it, because like what I did was I would open a bunch of pictures of artists that I like enjoyed looking at their stuff, and I would like do lay-ins on top of their face, of their portraits, and like really try to understand, hey, this artist makes the forehead really small, this artist make the eyes placed like this, or the chin is way smaller than it should be, this artist makes the head wider and stuff. So you can start to understand things, and then putting things together and doing something that you like to see on your art. But I don't think it's a set thing. Like I don't think I have my style. I found my style or anything like that. I have a style right now, and if you look at my stuff today, like it has already changed a bunch. At first, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was more like trying to get to know the colors and understand the values. I still like need to do it a lot, because it's far from perfect, and it doesn't get perfect ever, right? So, but yeah, the style will keep changing, and it will look like my stuff will look like the style they have at the time. So, I don't care like to have like a definite style. Like this is my right now.
Yeah, that's really good, and I think it's natural. Like I think, like looking at your comments, people say, "Oh, your work looks a lot like Angel," like as if it's like a bad thing. Like, of course it does, because you've spent so much time studying with me. And I think now what I'm seeing, and what I love seeing you progress, like you're starting to venture more into expressions and figures and like developing your own kind of thing. But this is only possible because you spend so much time studying under, my whole exercises and all of that. So
100%.
It's natural that it looks kind of similar, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that like where you're gonna take this,
Yeah. And now I have the tools to take it somewhere else, right? Because if I didn't study all this shit, I wouldn't have the tools to do it. Like
exactly, yeah. Okay. And what do you think is different now that you kind of understand the fundamentals? Like, what are you thinking? Like, what were you thinking before when you were painting, and what are you thinking about now? Like, is it different? Is the experience different?
Yeah, the whole thing is different, right? Because the first thing, like in practical terms, the first thing I can say is that I didn't use references ever. So I didn't know what I had to paint. I didn't have a subject. I always painted like a 3/4 view of a face, of a head, and with no expression, and always with the same proportions. Wrong proportions, by the way. So now that I can fully understand like how much a reference is important, I can like find a cool reference for like a pose, and then if I don't want to just do that pose, I can like find another accessory to add, or another like face, or I can come up with my own faces. Like I have a reference for a pose, and I want to do a different face. I can do it because I have the tools to do it right now. I wouldn't be able to do it back then, and now I can really understand like how a reference will look good with certain colors. How can I can shift the colors of a reference like to make it look more interesting. How to take some decisions like, man, I don't need to paint this part because it will look bad. This part of the reference is bad. I can like change this color. That here is a blue. I can make this an orange because it will look better with the whole piece. So those kind of stuff that I can think right now, I wouldn't be able to do it because I didn't know that I had to do it in the first place. So
I love what you said earlier is about like you need to know the rules first in order to break them. And I think it's not only breaking them, but also forgetting them. Like when you know how to draw a face, is what I experienced too. Is like I'm no longer thinking, is this gonna be right? Like I just let go of that, and I'm thinking like, how can I make this better in terms of the character, or in terms of like, making the colors better. I'm not thinking about the structure of the face because you already understand that. And I think when you're first starting out, how do you expect to draw a character or develop a style or anything like that when you don't even like, we're so worried about making the right face that it literally like that's all you think about. You don't have
Yeah.
space in your brain to think about all the other stuff.
Yeah, and I've spent like so much time just looking at the cheekbone, like countless hours looking at the cheekbone to really understand how it works, and that pays off because now I can like paint on every like angle without having to think about how the cheekbone is how the cheekbone works, because I already did. So now I can think about which colors I'm gonna use, or if I'm gonna put the light on another spot to make it look better, because I already know the structure.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite questions when people ask me is like, how do you color, or like, how do you use colors? And it's like, bro, this motherfucker literally spend so much time doing random drawings, and then he spent like a year doing the course, and now he's saying like, now I can really think about the colors. You can't think about the colors without these fundamentals and without this stuff.
Yeah, no, the colors are like a whole different piece. Like you gotta
Yeah.
do the whole thing before.
Yeah, but people are just they weirded out of where to start. Yeah. All right. And why, like I had that question because you mentioned that what you used to think about like drawing and what you actually did was different. Like you used to think like, oh, I'm practicing, I'm getting better or stuff like that. But you, in reality, you wouldn't really practice that much, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I was like doodling a bunch, and I thought I was practicing because I was spending time drawing,
Mm-hmm.
and it was good. Like I was improving, but like almost nothing. So then what changed a lot for me was when I started practicing right, because then I spent one I had like the feedback and I could see myself improving, so I had like the motivation to keep drawing. I wouldn't like do one thing and then say, oh, this looks like shit, and I won't do it, I won't draw anything anymore. I would like be able to see a drawing and see how much I've improved since the last one, and then someone would give me feedback. Hey, your eyes look like this because you don't understand how the form is turning in 3D. Okay, so now I gotta understand how the form is turning in 3D. And oh, by the way, here are some exercises that will help you with that. So the course already had that structure to help me on the thing that I needed help. So I was super motivated to do the next drawing and try to see if I could apply the thing, and then ask for more feedback, and that becomes like a snowball thing that will make you improve really fast.
Yeah, like a good cycle. Like I always say that people are stuck in like a toxic cycle of like seeing somebody's art and then procrastinating and getting depressed and all that. And this is like a good cycle where you keep getting
Yes.
better and you get more motivated and stuff. All right. And why do you think like people feel that way? Like why do you think people feel demotivated and so many artists procrastinate and they feel demotivated and all that? Why do you think they experience that? Or why did you experience it? I don't know if you can speak for everybody, but why did you
Yeah.
feel unmotivated and you
I
procrastinated?
think things are really worse now than they were when I was younger, because now we have the fucking social media. I could like spend like an hour here just saying bad stuff about social media and how it's ruining our society and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think one of the big things is really this. It's like when you spend a lot of time looking at other stuff and you don't have like the mind to know that those people, they studied a lot and they had a lot of practice. You just look at all that stuff and will say, oh man, I will never be able to get close to that. You look at your stuff. It was what happened to me, by the way. I looked at my stuff and I would say like, dude, I saw the same, I studied from the same books, or saw the same basic stuff that this guy did, and he could make it good, and I'm not able to, because if you start looking at the basic stuff, the most basic stuff, everyone will say the same thing, like you gotta do the thirds and you gotta blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So the rules that the people go off of are the same,
Mm-hmm.
and some people can make it look better than others, even knowing like the same rules. So I would get frustrated because of that, and what was really like missing for me was that structured practicing, because I was oh,
Mm-hmm.
I know this I don't need to practice the fucking laying, because I already know it. I didn't
Yeah.
know it, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't really know it. uh, and I think today that the things are worse, because now you have this a lot of social media, and
Yeah.
everyone is pretending to be happy all the time, and then
Mm-hmm.
you look at your work, and your work is not good, and you have your problems at school or at work, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't spend time doing that shit. And then what was good for me is, because I love doing this, I it would be like something that would get my mind like in the zone, and I could like draw for hours without having to
Mm-hmm.
think about other stuff from college, from work, or from school or anything. So that's, and even the learning process is something that I really enjoy. So it's something that, yeah, I can just spend time doing it, and instead of playing a game or something like that.
Right. So it's just a hobby, like a way to escape almost like real life and for
Yeah,
you to kind of improve and just kind of get you entertained almost. All
yeah.
right. And it's interesting what you said about social media. Like I definitely agree, even though my whole business and brand is built on social media. So I do need it, but
Hypocrisy is the name of it.
yeah, that's true. But do you like what you said there? Like, is it that people are using social media like the wrong way? Like, do you think that's what it is? Like, instead of them learning and getting inspired, they're looking and they're kind of feeling bad about themselves because they're
Yeah,
seeing so much good work. Like, it's not really
yeah.
that you're studying from that, but you're really like just looking at it and you're like, man, this
You
is so
just
good. I can
look.
never be like that.
You're just. This is one thing, and the other thing is, like, people who are real beginners. They, I think some of them, they tend to want to have like 100,000 followers on Instagram on the next day,
Oh yeah,
and that kind of becomes their objective more so
yeah,
than the art. So you see, like, the person posts like a hundred stuff a day. None of it is good. They have like a 300, 400
yeah.
followers, and they start sending you messages. Hey, follow me back, follow me back. No, bro. You sh- I think for these people, they shouldn't even like have an Instagram account for art. Like, you
Uh-huh.
should make an Instagram account for art like after a while, or if you wanna, okay, if you wanna post like your progress, but be sure to check that you're not like trying to get the likes. You're just like
Yeah.
showing off what you're doing,
Yeah.
and because Instagram is a fucking thing. It's really easy to get
Yeah.
caught up with the number of likes. This
Mm-hmm.
picture got more likes than this one. Why
Yeah.
no one no why is no one commenting on my stuff? Oh
Oh
my god!
yeah.
And
It's really
then
bad.
the social media, I think I would like stay away from it until like you're like you have a bigger understanding of art, because it can get things
Yeah.
skewed on your mind.
Yeah.
Uh,
Screwed up. Yeah. I always say to people like start like you can start an Instagram when you join the course just to show your progress and it's just to keep your not even to show but just to keep your progress because I think it's very inspirational when you look at somebody's Instagram because for example like I literally had to make Breno make an Instagram because he didn't have one so he was graduating from the course I was like bro your work is fucking dope make an Instagram and he's like what is that how do you and he made it. He didn't even used to use emojis, and I was like, "Bro, use emojis. You're like a pedo, like on the internet. Like you're just a weird, bro." Just and he was like, "I don't use social media." And I think like your work is so dope now and inspiring so many people. But at the same time, like I love Alexis's Instagram because she's been
yeah,
posting and like a lot of people get inspired because they see her journey. So I think like it's definitely bad to look for likes and that for that to be an objective. Like and you can literally kill your progress and make everything much worse. But if you're just, keeping your progress there and you keep getting better, like it's crazy how, many people you can really touch and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Just be sure to have the right mindset, right?
yeah, just the right mindset and stuff. Like, and especially with you right now, like, some of your pieces are going viral and stuff. Like, you have over 10,000 likes. And does that even affect you in any way? Or like, how does that make you kind of feel or stuff?
Well, if I didn't want to show my work, I wouldn't have an Instagram account, right? So
Hmm.
when something like that happens, I feel good. Like I say, oh look, people like my stuff. That's good. But at the same time, like I was like super annoyed that that one picture got that much attention because I
Yeah.
couldn't really understand why it was happening. Because I thought I had some pictures that were better, and I didn't like do anything too much different from anything else. So that one simply blew up, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck me!" What? And then I could like almost got up. I almost got caught up on the likes thing.
Uh-huh.
I spent time like thinking, okay, there's something here. I gotta do more of this. I gotta understand why people like this because I have to replicate this. So then
Oh.
when I was able to see that I was thinking this way, I was like, okay. Fucking Mark Zuckerberg is getting into my mind. I don't have to do it. I gotta just keep doing my shit, and
Yeah.
things will happen. And I don't want to be a professional artist, so it doesn't really matter to me if yeah, it gets 10,000 likes or 100,000 likes or 3 likes.
Yeah.
Of course, I feel it. I feel good when it has a good response because it's people liking your work. So
Yeah, I remember like you asking me on a call, like why do people like this one particular painting? And I was like, bro, don't try to figure this out. This shit is gonna kill you. Like I've been doing social media for a long time. I've done YouTube. I've went viral, and it literally kills you. Like you can't get caught up in that stuff. And people think they want it, and I went through this whole revelation and stuff. I used to think that I wanted it, and then when I got it, it was definitely not what I thought it was, and it made me feel bad. And like now I don't look at anything. I don't look at views. I don't look at likes. I don't do any of that stuff. Like I'm just going on my journey. I'm teaching people. I'm sharing stuff, and I don't really care if like I have 3 likes or anything like that. I just care transforming people's art. Like that shit is the inspiration for me. But I think it's like easier for me and you to say because like for me, I'm at a point that I don't really care how many likes because I'm doing something different, like I'm teaching people. And for you, it's not really your job. But I think it's harder for people who like want to become a professional and they know like, bro, if I don't get this amount of likes, I'm not gonna get commissions or anything like that.
yeah,
But it's interesting because you have to detach yourself from that. Like in order to get commissions, in order to actually have go viral and all of that stuff, you should not really even want it. Like you should want just the progress. And it's so weird, like that law of attraction and all that spiritual kind of shit. It's so
yeah,
true. Like
it will pay off.
yeah, it only happens to people who they don't really care. Like they're just focused on other
Yeah,
shit.
because people will like and will share and will give value to your work if it's good, and it will only get good if that's your priority. And
Yeah.
if Instagram or social media becomes your priority, then art is not your priority anymore. So it will be like a second thing. So you won't be able to grow as fast as you would like in a skill level. So even if you don't grow Instagram as fast as you uh, could, you will improve faster than you could otherwise.
Yeah.
So that can't be worse than getting more Instagram
Of course.
followers.
Yeah.
You can buy some Instagram followers. Okay,
Oh, but
you
that
have
shit
the
don't work
you have
though.
you have
Yeah.
the number up there. It will say 20,000.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. It literally
Yeah, it doesn't. It
pointless.
doesn't.
It
That's
actually,
my point.
yeah, it actually even to go even deeper, it just only makes it worse because then the algorithm just goes like, yo, you have all these followers, but nobody likes your work. What are you even doing here? So
Yeah,
I don't even care about the algorithm or shit like that. It always kills me when people are like, bro, how is the algorithm? How does it work? How do I go viral? Or how do I get followers? And I'm like, you can't do that. Even if you watch tutorials or shit like that, it's only fucking gimmicks and stuff. It's only people who don't really know what they're doing. Like people who know what they're doing, they're not thinking about that shit. People who actually, get the followers and they do bigger stuff. Like you're not thinking about getting followers. You're caught up in thinking about how to get better. So
Exactly.
you're thinking about deeper shit. Yeah. Okay. And we talk a lot about the warrior mindset and all of that. And I like to ask people like, what is the warrior mindset for you? And how do you think you've kind of like changed your mindset a little bit as you've kind of gotten older and stuff, and you've kind of developed your work and stuff? And how has your mindset kind of changed? 'Cause that word, like that thing with Instagram, was definitely like a mindset thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like in terms of art, is there like a difference there in terms of your mindset?
Yeah, I gotta think about it. I think one big thing for that I was able to understand was that the thing about talent, right?
Yeah.
That you probably are not talented and you don't really need it. Uh, you can like just keep practicing it, and if you look like I know a bunch of people that you could say were talented, like they could like draw really good as kids, and
Uh-huh.
today and they didn't keep doing it,
Yeah.
or they got stuck on it, and
Yeah.
now today I draw way better than them, and I wasn't the talented one.
Yeah.
So it art is just like any other thing, and people sometimes don't understand that. They will think that it is a special case, but it's like anything. It's like playing music, knowing how to program, or knowing how to cook or something like that.
Mhm.
So really understanding that you can get better at art.
Yeah.
You will get better at art if you follow like a
Mhm.
structured thing. There's no way you can't get better at art. You won't get better at art, like if you follow the thing, because you can't unlearn the stuff that you learned. Uh,
Mm.
or you can bang your head on the wall and then you forget your memories, but otherwise you won't be able to unlearn stuff. So just understanding that, being that okay, I'm I'm practicing. I will get better. And then the other thing is knowing that when you're studying, you're not creating stuff. You're not doing your OCs, your vision of how the world should be. You're studying, you're learning how the fucking plane of the glabella works.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do right now, because then you can apply it to your OCs with the horns and the furry stuff. Uh, but yeah, I think really understanding there's time to study,
Yeah.
and your objective when studying is understanding that single thing that you're studying at that time, and then really understanding that this will help you improve your art, and then
Yeah.
just rinse and repeat, right?
Hmm. Right. And what you said earlier was kind of deep. I wanted to kind of talk about that too, because you said that you felt before joining the course and stuff and doing the exercises, you were like too advanced for them. You were like, man, I already know this. Like, I already know like how the fundamentals work, but you really didn't. Do you think like that was ego? Like, what do you think that was? Like, what kind of stopped you, or what made you think that? And what actually happened there for you to remove that? You know?
Maybe it was ego, but I could say that it was more laziness to me, because I had watched so many of those videos that I could say I could like record that video and get it and give that class, because I
Oh,
already
right.
I already I already knew all the stuff. Yeah, the thirds, the hand,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I
Yeah.
knew it, But
Yeah.
when on my drawings, it would look wrong because I didn't have the practice. So what made the difference for me was when I started studying with the Doodle Warriors.
Yeah.
You had like the lesson 1 to lesson 6 thing,
Yeah.
and you were saying on your lives that you gotta. I don't know. I don't care how much of how advanced you are. You gotta start from the level 1. I'm like, fuck me, man. I already know this shit. This guy. Oh my god, why did I pay for this? And then I'm like, okay. I have nothing to do. I'm on a pandemic. I don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have a beer and just draw some of these lay-ins that I know how to do, like from the top of my head. And then when I sent the first one, it was all wrong. But
Bro,
then, but yeah. So it was really like just starting doing starting from the beginning, because then you have like a blank slate and you can like learn from that.
Yeah, one of my favorite questions is when people like ask me, where should I start? You have all these lessons. Which one should I start from? It's like, bitch, how about you start from lesson 1? Like, I don't know. Like, it literally says 1. You need to start. What are you talking about? And then my favorite shit also is like what happened with you. It's like you have like intermediate or people like that trying to find this style and shit. It's like, I already know this. Can I join like lesson 4 or like lesson 5 or something? And I'm like, bitch, just do lesson 1. And they're like, yeah, I can already do it, but I'm gonna just show you that I can do it. And then they send the lesson 1, and I'm like, bro, this is all fucked up. You don't do this like that. You don't do that like that. And I've noticed that 2 things happen then. Like you either just quit because you can't accept that, and you're like, oh no, I don't think so, it is actually good, you don't understand anything. Or people just kind of humble themselves and they're like, oh, I don't know anything. And then the real kind of learning happens and they're like, shit, I've been wrong. Like I was living in a fucking delusion and shit. And then they actually start from this.
And like the time that I spent kind of studying but not really, it helped, because then when I got on the right track, I could like go through the lessons faster than average, because I understood that I had to practice that stuff, but I already had a bunch of baggage in my mind, so
just prior experience, like having prior experience, even though it's random, like it will still help you. That's why I tell people, don't kind of compare your journey to other people's journey, because some people might take them literally like 4 to 5 months to graduate, like Breno, and some people might take them a year, like Alexis, because obviously Alexis didn't even have a tablet. Like she had no experience doing this. And with Breno, he went faster to it because he had like, some experience. And the experience doesn't matter that much. It helps you. So it's not like a bad or a good thing. It's just what it is. Like you have that. So whether you're a beginner or intermediate or advanced, it literally doesn't matter.
And I spent like 15 years practicing, and then in 1 year I improved more than all of those 15 years prior to that. So if I like started studying right when like I was like 14 or 15, today it would be like fucking Mike Azevedo or something like that.
Right.
I'm not.
Damn, but you progressed so much, bro. But that was really inspirational. Like you progressed more in 1 year than you've done in 15 years.
Yeah.
Crazy. And if you had like to give one type of an advice to like, that guy like you were 15 years ago, what would you say? Like what type of an advice would you give him?
Buy Bitcoin.
Okay, that's good. All right. Do the Warriors Bitcoin course coming up next.
Buy Bitcoin because it will get valued, and then sell it. Don't trust on it. Okay. I don't know. I think that the biggest thing would be to just start studying right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this was a really inspirational thing, man. I love everything we talked about, style and the procrastination and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
really I just hope I could make myself be understandable, because like my brain is kind of getting mad with me because I'm making it think in another language,
Oh
and I
yeah,
haven't even woken up yet.
of course. Listen,
That's
English is not even my first language, so it's always funny talking to students, and they're like, "Bro, I'm sorry for my English," and I'm like, "Bro, what are you talking about? My English is my second language. I fucking have an accent. It's okay. Everybody has a fucking accent." Shit. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure, Breno, man. Make sure everybody go check his Instagram, Instagram.com. If you don't go to fucking browsers, you just go to Instagram. I'm so fucking stupid. Breno Pontes Art on Instagram. And I also did a free masterclass where I kind of recorded all the 10 exercises. I show you exactly how Breno progressed. I show you his journey. I show other people's journey. And you can get that for free in the description going to doodlewarriors.com/masterclass. Make sure you check that out below the video. All right. It's been a pleasure. Breno, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing your progress, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.